Okay guys, how's it going? So I've been doing videos of my little racing drone here that I built, and recently I've been doing videos of the FPV system, and you may have seen some of those. On those videos, I got a couple comments, and I didn't realize this, but this is the first, I had the first video of this particular system on YouTube, and so a lot of people are interested in this system itself because it's a pretty cheap system. I think it was $185 from Get FPV. By the way, this is not sponsored in any way. I spent my own money. I haven't talked with Get FPV or FatShark at all in any of this. I'm just a normal guy like you. So this is my honest opinion about all this. But I wanted to go in depth about the FPV system that I got from getfpv.com for $185 with goggles. I mean, I saw it and I thought this is a great thing for beginners like myself. And I'm pretty sure I'm right on that, but that's the thing, because I don't have a whole lot of experience with FPV stuff, but from what I can tell, I know what I like, and I just really like the way this works. So let me talk about it. It all comes inside of a box, which this comes inside of that box, and it's all inside of here, including the transmitter, power regulator, and camera itself all come in this box when you get it. It's a nice, pretty hard shell case with big FatShark logo on it. Zips around. So, I mean, it carries your stuff in style. It keeps it from getting crushed or damaged. Open it up. Right now I just have the antenna, the battery, and the actual goggles inside. And this is very important. It's good that they have that sticker on there pretty permanently to remind you every single time not to point the lenses at the sun because it will burn little yellow spots into the LCD. I work for a TV station. We have old camcorders that we use, and their viewfinders, a lot of them had little yellow splotches burned to the bottom of the screen because the sun goes through the lenses and completely destroys the LCD. It never looks the same again. You can't get a good image quality. You don't know if the white balance is correct. It's a mess. So long story short, always keep it facing down like this unless you're putting it on, and then still be very careful. About the goggles themselves. It's a very cool piece of equipment. I mean, just the idea of being able to basically look through a pair of glasses and see video. I mean, that's stuff the future right there. That's why you're buying this, because you love the idea. And yes, it is a completely different flying experience. You feel so much, you really feel like you're inside the drone, controlling it, making everything happen. I've flown full-scale aircraft, and it's pretty much the same feeling. It's really exciting. And of course, like I said, there are much better versions of this, but this is the cheapest one. So I've never tried any of the nicer ones. And I don't plan on trying any nicer ones until I'm ready to buy them, because I'm pretty sure as soon as I try the nice ones, I'm never going to be able to go back to this. There's a pair of headphones I've heard of. They're called the Sennheiser Orpheus, and the rumor about them is that once you try these headphones, you'll never be able to listen to music without the Orpheus again. It changes your life. Anyway, look those up. But I have the same kind of philosophy about other headsets and goggles until I'm ready to buy them for myself, because the field of view, which is, I'll just explain it. I've talked about this before, but when you put these on, it looks like you're sitting in a dark room, a very, very dark room, looking at maybe like a 55-inch TV. But with better FatShark goggles, that field of view will get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and especially for flying and controlling things, that's going to change the way it works and the way it feels so dramatically. I'm not ready to even experience that until I'm ready to take that step forward. Okay, I talked too long about that. Anyway, you get several controls on the top. Volume, which is that's like a headphone jack. But the transmitter doesn't actually send audio, so that's kind of useless. So there's that channel. This switches through, I should know how many channels there are. I think it's race band. I'll have that on the screen right now. But it switches through the channels, which correspond to the switches. Let's see if I can get a good view of this. The switches that are inside of there, those switches adjust the channel that the transmitter is on, and these little board switches, board buttons, change the channel that the receiver is on. This black button I didn't know much about, but it's very important and very, very cool. It's just a little like joystick. You can push it up, down, right, and left. And what those do up and down adjust brightness of the image displayed in here. It'll take the raw image from the video being transmitted and it will adjust it. If you don't work with video editing, you might not follow some of what I'm saying here, but it'll adjust the brightness of the video that is shown to you on the goggles. If you turn it left and right, it will adjust the contrast. But anyway, just mess with that in directions until it makes sense. But here's the cool thing. These are head tracking goggles, which means they have sensors in here that will know when you're looking left, right, up, and down. But this button does something very cool. If you push it and hold it, I'll plug it in so you hear what happens. And also I'll do a demonstration of what it looks like on the screen. So you have your full image. Now, you push and hold the black middle button until it beeps. Now, it is zoomed in on the image. And when you turn it left, right, up, and down, it senses where your head is facing and will zoom in on different parts of the image for where your head is facing. It's a really cool feature. It's not very useful in a lot of stuff, but one thing I found it really useful for was I flew with a friend recently, and I just let him have the headphones, and I turned on that mode to see how he liked it, because I had never tried it before because I don't want to fly with it. But he loved the experience because it really felt like you were there moving left, right, up and down, like you were in the drone. And that was a really cool flying experience for him. Even though he wasn't in control, he had something that he could do, and it really made it real for him. So that's a very cool feature that I think only a couple models have, because it's not a very usable feature, but it's just kind of a cool thing. It has a built-in receiver, which means that you can't really switch it out, and you could open it up and stuff, but it's not designed to be switched out, so you have to work with a built-in receiver. And this antenna that it comes with just threads on, and I recommend turning it upside down like that, screwing it in all the way, and then grabbing it and rotating the entire thing up so that you torsion it a little bit so that it doesn't just like wobble everywhere. But the key is to always have the little mushroom part facing up, because the orientation of these two antennas has to remain the same, because that's the way the radio frequencies work. It just is. So anyway, the battery that comes with the goggles, it looks all cool. It's in a little plastic box and everything, but it's just a 2-cell LiPo battery. And it has a specialized connector that plugs in there, and it fits inside the band so that when you put it on your head, it's not flopping around. But here's the thing. This kit that comes with everything else does not come with a charger for this 2-cell lithium polymer battery. All I had before was just a 3-cell charger that I had used for all my batteries, and so I had to buy a specialized charger. I mean, I had to do this eventually anyway, but I got the IMAX B6 Mini, which charges anywhere from 2 to 6-cell batteries. And so, I mean, you're gonna have to factor that into the price. This was about $30 plus this doesn't come with a power supply, and so you have to supply that yourself. So it's just, I mean, this whole hobby is money. You know that at this point. It's just money after money after money, and but it's a whole lot of fun, and I think it's worth it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not rich, but I think that for what I've spent on here, I've gotten more than my money's worth out of it already. Let's talk about what's on the drone right here. I have it set up weird because I have a drone with a very shallow compartment right here, and a lot of my components actually can't fit into the gap between the upper and lower frames. And so what I did was I just cut the frame in half completely and allowed the components to fit. And the major problem there was this transmitter. It's a good thing. It does what it's supposed to, but it's built pretty cheaply and bulkily. Also, you can't change where the antenna comes out. It always has to be attached to this in just that way. A lot of times you can reroute the antenna to different parts with coax wire and have it come out where you need it to. But I had to find a place for it to where it wouldn't get hit by the propellers. Also, this antenna, you can set it upright as much as you want, but after each flight, it will always be like that. It flops over, and it's kind of annoying. Just always be sure that it's not in the path of the propellers, and it'll be fine. It comes with a power balancer, like I said, which hooks into the balance lead of your battery. And it works on 2, 3, or 4 cell batteries. And it will basically just keep any voltage spikes. It'll level out the power so that nothing really harms your system. It's probably not necessary. You could probably get away without using it, but I wouldn't recommend it. And the power goes into the receiver, which then puts power, it then connects to the 700 TV line camera. And here's a closer up of the camera. You can see where I have it mounted. This is not a permanent mounting point for it. I want to build something out of wood that I can adjust the angle and make that work. Right now I just have it held in place with a zip tie right there, and it's propped up level with paper. But it's worked so far for all my test flights and stuff, and I like the system, so it's time for me to spend some time using it. And also, you'll notice that I still have my Mobius on here. And that's because of another major downfall of these goggles, which is there is no DVR. And especially for someone like me who's going to be showing pretty much all my flights and talking to you right now about this, I would love to have a DVR, digital video recorder, built into the goggles so I can show you what I'm talking about. Instead, I've in the past simulated what it looks like with different effects until it looks close enough to what it looks like for you to understand what I'm talking about. One problem with the onboard electronics, besides that they're just cheap and poorly constructed, poorly thought through, is the cables that come with them are so long. And that's good if you have like an FPV plane or flying wing or something. But for a drone this size, you might be able to see this. I wrapped this gray wire around the body. Keep following it. All the way around, into the side, finally to the camera, because that's just what I had to do with the wire. There was no other place to put it. I put it there as efficiently as I could. But it all works out and it's fine. So, I've talked on for way too long about this. In closing, this FatShark Teleporter V5 kit that I've seen for sale several places, but most prominently on getfpv.com. Again, they're not sponsors, this is my opinion. I think it's a great kit for beginners. I could not find a better thing for my purposes right here. I'm very happy that I got it. It has taught me so much about this that I couldn't have done without this kit. But yes, eventually I will be looking to upgrade. And for me, that's more about when I have the money than when I need to upgrade. So just keep in mind that this is not a permanent solution for anything besides backyard flying. Oh, one more thing. I did a range test with this system the other day. Unfortunately, the Mobius camera is not working, but we still were able to test it. Line of sight, no obstructions in the way at all. We were able to test it, and there was snow from about, like, little static on the screen from about 150 yards until it blacked out completely at about 300 yards. This will change dramatically with your surroundings. If there's stuff for the signal to echo off of, it'll change that. If there's trees in the way, if there's any line of sight breakage at all, it craps out pretty quickly. The key here is to just use this setup for fun. Don't expect to get professional results from this FPV system. It's a cheap introductory setup to get you excited and to get you learning. And then when you're ready, when I'm ready, I'll be able to know what I need to know to get my next setup, know what features I like, which ones I need, like I need a DVR. And I'll already have some of the stuff already, like this camera. I don't really see much wrong with the camera, so I probably won't buy a new one for a while. And it's just good to have this stuff. And also, it's a backup set for whenever I do buy a nice one. And again, just that little thing about not coming with a LiPo charger for your 2-cell, I had to get a separate charger that charged 2 cells as well as the 3 cells I had been using. So it's a cool set, but it's maybe not 100% thought out by the manufacturer. But for $185, it's going to be about the best you can get. Alright, thanks so much for watching. I'll see y'all next flight.